Thanks to our friends at The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/ASYM for the top 10 stocks to buy right now. One of the things I hear investors talk about a lot is that we want to buy brands that have staying power and pricing power in the market. And on the surface, that really sounds smart. Sounds like the kind of thing you would want to do. Warren Buffett has made a ton of money in Coca-Cola over the last few decades. So you want to follow that kind of playbook, right? Well, maybe not. And so I want to get into why there's actually a lot of big brands that are underperforming the stock market overall. My name is Travis Hoyam. Thanks for watching Asymmetric Investing. Please subscribe here on YouTube for all my content. And I want to start with a chart because I think this is the surprising chart for investors. This is total return for the S&P 500 in green. And then the companies listed are Anheuser-Busch, so Budweiser, General Mills, food, Green Giant, cereal, all kinds of consumer staples, Kraft Heinz, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and 3M. These companies own dozens of massive brand names, but they have all underperformed the stock market on a total return basis over the last decade. I want to repeat that. These phenomenal brands, the companies that own these brands, have underperformed the stock market overall over the past decade. Why is that? If we look at why these companies have big brand names and why Buffett was interested in specifically the Kraft Heinz deal, he has talked about buying shelf space. So basically, you're buying shelf space in the grocery store. You know that you go into a store and Kraft is going to be there, Heinz is going to be there. You could say the same thing for Budweiser in a liquor store or Pepsi and Coca-Cola if you're looking for drinks. These companies have distribution power, they have supply power. So, what has changed over the last 10 to 20 years? Well, the big change is the internet. Now we're buying more things from internet retailers, from smaller local shops. It's easier to reach customers on an individual basis and find those people rather than just building a big box retailer and just having the same kind of products that every other retailer has. Companies are differentiating themselves on different products because there's demand side pressure. So if you've noticed in grocery stores in particular, I find this the most noticeable. It starts with a small section. Here's our local section. And then that starts to bleed into those local products just being incorporated with all other products. And next thing you know, the ketchup aisle or the mustard aisle isn't just Heinz and Kraft. It's dozens of brands. And now these companies are competing on a level footing with much, much smaller brands. This has happened over and over again because the power in the supply chain is no longer on the supply side. It's now on the demand side. Consumers have more choice than they've ever had, and small brands have found new ways to reach consumers because they can do an individual ad on something like YouTube. The dynamic has simply changed in the market, and these big brands don't have the ability to lean on the supply chain or distribution power that they once had. The question that I fundamentally have is, did we buy these brands because they were great brands that we were attracted to, or because they were the only option and they were the identifiable option? You walk into a liquor store, oh, I understand what Budweiser is going to be, what Miller Lite is going to be, but I don't know what this new local brand is going to be. Well, over the course of 10 years, that thinking breaks down. Now I walk into a liquor store and there's a section for the big brands, but there's an even larger section for local brews or micro brews or interesting beers from around the world. That is a new phenomenon in the market and is because consumers, the demand side of the market, have demanded these products. And I think the real reason is the internet has really changed the game from a distribution standpoint. So instead of these products being pushed to consumers, and that's kind of the only choice they have, now people have choices everywhere. And so these big brands are no longer the powerhouses that they once were. This is one of those challenges that I don't think is going to end anytime soon. There's no easy answer. There's no amount of cost cutting that's going to make up for the fact that sales are falling, even if they're falling in low single digits. That's going to be a challenge for any company. I think the reason that these big brands have not performed well as investment is because the market is fundamentally different than it was over most of the past 100 years or more. And that's not changing anytime soon. What do you think? Give me your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to follow Asymmetric Investing. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you here next time.